Shifting focus to the latest updates in the DR Congo conflict. Angola, which has served as the mediator between the DRC government and the Rwanda-backed M23 rebels for nearly 2 years, has now announced it is stepping down from the role. Angola cites frustration over the lack of commitment from both parties to adhere to peace talks as the reason for its decision. A statement from the Angolan presidency mentions that despite its attempts to broker direct peace talks between the DRC government and the rebels, these efforts have failed. Now, as a result, Angola will now shift its focus to its role as chair of the African Union, a position it assumed just last month. Angola had been leading the African Union-backed mediation process since early 2023, with President João Lourenço appointed to facilitate peace. However, its mediation efforts have faced repeated challenges, leading to multiple failed ceasefire attempts. In March of 2023, a truce brokered by Angola collapsed shortly after it began, prompting Angola to deploy troops to the DRC's east. In December of 2024, a planned summit aimed at bringing the DRC government and the M23 rebels to the negotiating table did not materialize. Then, just days ago, the latest Angolan-mediated talks in the capital of Luanda were aborted at the last minute after the M23 rebels withdrew following the EU-imposed sanctions on their leaders. Angola's decision to withdraw comes at a critical moment in the conflict, as the M23 rebels have made significant territorial gains in a lightning advance since January. At least 7,000 people have been reportedly killed in the escalating violence. A little hope was ignited last week when the presidents of the DRC and Rwanda held surprise talks in Qatar. However, these informal talks did not aim to replace the existing peace efforts. Soon after the Doha meeting, the M23 rebels captured another town in eastern DRC, but later announced that they would withdraw as a peace gesture. Despite this, the troops remain on the ground. With Angola stepping aside, the future of mediation efforts remains uncertain. While a successor has not yet been announced, the African Union plans to work with regional organizations such as the South African Development Community, or SADC, and the East African Community, or the EAC, to identify a suitable candidate. The two organizations are also involved in peace efforts in the conflict. As per reports, potential mediators could include neighboring countries with a vested interest in regional stability, such as Kenya or Tanzania, which are both members of the EAC. But no timeline has been given for the new appointments. Angola's withdrawal as the mediator in the DRC conflict marks a turning point in the ongoing crisis, leaving a critical gap in diplomatic efforts. With no immediate successor announced, uncertainty looms over the future of peace talks.
Greeting you with aloha and namaste.
I love India.
Presence, occupation of a territory by another country pertains to India, what we saw in Kashmir.
How do you see Trump's America?
Yes, the current administration behaves differently from the previous administration.
Are you saying that there are foreign powers who are trying to bring down the current government in Syria?
Exactly.
Bluntly, Iran, maybe Russia too.
Prime Minister Modi committed to South-South, cooperation.
Not over 50%.
Is Ukraine prepared to pay the price for that peace?
No compromises at the cost of territorial integrity and sovereignty.